Hello, my name's Alex Rose, and I'm a prop maker for film and theatre and TV. Prop making is a massively varied job. It's got elements of set design, costume, puppet making, anything. You can be asked to make anything. So I'm often collaborating with art departments within films and theatre, or directly with clients on a sort of conceptual basis, designing the work that they want. And people come to you with crazy, unrealistic, abstract ideas, and it's basically my job to make that a real thing. There's really no way of knowing what the next job's going to demand for, so you've kind of got to have a skill set that can cover all bases, like metalwork, moulding and casting in silicon, working with Perspex. This is a piece I made last year called Luxury Life Support. He's like a 2 meter high silicon figure that sits in this chair and suckles on this feeding tube. It's got this mechanism in his cheeks where these air bladders move his cheeks. So I've got to be prepared to work within a lot of different mediums. I've got to do quite a bit of metal work. There's fabricating and welding metal. I've got to use fiberglass and silicon for mould making and casting. I've got to construct mechanisms for moving props, and I do quite a lot of sculpting as well for, like concept sculpts, which uses clay and sometimes non-traditional stuff. This one here has also got like a pulsating mechanism inside it. This is a silicon figure again, like a rubbery, supple figure that can move. The way you do this is you sculpt it in a clay. So you sculpt a creature in a water-based clay, and then you build a mould around it in fiberglass, which you can then pour the liquid rubber into, and then get your cast of your creature out of. These are some masks that I made for a ballet of Peter and the Wolf. They're made out of plastizote, and they're quite fun. Back to silicon. This is what I seem to do a lot. These were some severed heads that had to be made for a Netflix show. They were eaten in this cannibal banquet, so they had to be really lifelike. And you can see these like cross sections of the necks, and they had to remove the tongues in the scene as well, so they could eat the tongues in the banquet, which was fun. There's a million paths to working in your ideal creative vocation, but for me, higher education, it didn't just introduce me to the techniques that I use, but it gave me the space and support to focus on what it was that I wanted, and it gave me the direction to know where I wanted to work, who I wanted to work with. It taught me to approach and communicate with clients and make the contacts that I needed. It just gave me so much professional confidence that I didn't have before going to university. At your age, the most difficult thing for me was knowing which direction I wanted my creativity to take. I had a limited understanding of how broad the spectrum of artistic practices could be. I thought they were just painters, sculptors and illustrators. So the idea of, I wanted to be a professional artist, but the idea of constantly working under my own steam and self-motivating, and it was very scary. I was very unfocused at the time. Like, I felt like I was okay at drawing and had a good imagination, but you look into the world and it seems to be full of artists who are incredible at drawing, incredible at sculpting, and they're better painters than I could ever be. And it just seems like, what was the point of contributing my mediocre skills? Like, who would notice them or care? But higher education, it shows you that skills can be learned and developed. And if you've got a talent, it doesn't have to conform to that a typical idea of what an artist is. Like, not every artist has to be alone on a pedestal with this complete superhuman talent. You can be gifted in so many ways. You could be terrible at photorealistic observational drawing, but you could have a talent for realising ideas in 3 dimensions. Or you could have an amazing eye for colour and style, or an aptitude for working with metal or glass. You know, you might just have like superhuman patience, and you can just work and work at something that might be totally tedious to some people could be so satisfying for you. There's so many things you can do. You know, even if you feel like you've got no practical talents at all, but you can produce ideas that no one else can. You can In higher education, you can grow your ideas and talents. You can cross-reference them with other people. You can collaborate and just find your place in the working world. Like, nothing in my world, in film or theatre, is created by one individual. You know, an art department has so many people. You have ideas people, the designers, illustrators, sculptors, carpenters, people welding, there's robotics people, there's painters, there's so much stuff. So if you can identify a quality within yourself and take it further, you can turn that into your creative livelihood. In higher education, you can recognise and develop that unique gift, and you can find a place for yourself in the professional world. And when you're working, utilising your talents, it just feels so good. There's nothing like it.